All right, so this week on Sights in the City, we talked about Third Friday and how the Durham calendar is much busier than December it used to be. For everything from pop-up shows at Golden Belt to what's happening at Spectre Arts in the Carrick. And we
talked with Lightsey Darst of Daida, Durham Independent Dance Artists, about this moment between two big shows on their season, the second and third shows on their season, and just the moment for dance in Durham in general.
And we'd be super grateful if you followed us on YouTube at Clarion Content, or if you commented on YouTube, or commented on the ClarionContentMedia.com page, or hit us up on Twitter, Chris Vidiello, Josh Hart, or Clarion Content. We want to talk to you about your city. And I guess we have a lot of small spaces still, too, if you think about it, like in terms of how many people can get into the Carrick or the Motorco or the Pinhook. I mean, you know, if Motorco's the big boy, they can get 500 people in there maybe. And, you know, when you were there...
Really? You can get 500 in there?
Well, I think Fire Code is probably 500, and that would include like the staff and the performers and everybody. But when you were in there for the Daida series, they were saying sold out, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, and the Carrick shows are sold out.
Right, and the Carrick probably fills up at like 125. That's what I'm saying with these small venues. So we have a lot of places and a lot of things, and then when you go, it feels packed out. Like, I mean, I'm going to the Lila show December 26th. The Droogies are opening, which is a Durham reunion band. Has not played together in 10 years. And that'll be packed out, you know? And the enthusiasm, the way everyone there feels like part of our 2.5 degrees of separation of village. You know? So it's collective participation, and it's like, you kind of know a lot of people, whether it's the performers or the crowd. You know, the event scene has this going on. That's the great fun culture of watching, whether it's Lila perform or the dance series or the great art that you see in the character Red Dot. You know, I felt the same way. I saw pictures of you, I think, on the Arts Now North Carolina website.
Oh, yeah. You know, but that was interesting because of the Red Dot at the Carrick, an annual fundraiser show that they did with low-cost art, simultaneous with the 20 Buck Chuck event at Spectre Arts. Which was the exact same thing, small scale work that could be sold for a really low price. Basically, the artists donated the work to the gallery, and the proceeds from the sales of the work, all $20, $25, $50, $75, go back into the gallery. So it's a fundraiser show. But this would be the type of thing where to have two of those on the same night shows that there's critical mass. There's a lot.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, when smack, these weekends around the Christmas holiday, the New Year's holiday, when all the spaces would be dark and you were supposed to be home watching, the Christmas Story on TNT. Now we have it now. Third Friday on December 19th is a really busy night. There's tons of great stuff. And stuff exclusive to that one day. There's a pop-up show at Golden Belt. Off the Radar series.
Sent something out about that.
Yeah, Bryce Lankard and Rio Aubrey Taylor are showing work just
that one night.
6 to 9 p.m. December 19th, Friday night. That's it.
And so that's a perfect tie into Spectre Arts. So if you're out at Golden Belt and you're like, Spectre Arts, I think I've heard of where is that? It's the little white building that looks sort of like a church or something to me. Gorgeously cleaned up on the inside, right around the corner from Golden Belt there. And is it Bikram Yoga that's out there? I don't remember which yoga place it is. We have so many yoga places in Durham. Not a bad problem to have, right?
There's one over there, actually. Yeah, but and you need to check out this Lankard-Taylor show. But also, there's a really short-term show, just a 5-day show that actually, I think, opens today and runs through the 20th through this lens.
I love
there's several things there, but this must be said. It's a show called Intersection of Visions. 3 recent grads from the Art Institute downtown, Timothy Keontae Eisler, Katie Singletary and Marissa Powell. This is just a five-day show Through This Lens of the work of those three young artists.
We're filming on, what is it, like the 14th, the 15th today? So that would only be to the 20th. That's really a short-term show. And Through This Lens, if you're not familiar, is on Chapel Hill Street, I want to say, right by Major the Bull, literally in the plaza with the Jack Tar Motel. It is one door up from our friends who do the local printing at
the Speedy Q's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but the point is that just a couple of years ago, all the galleries and spaces would basically they'd put up a show in November and it would be up for 2 months because there just wasn't a lot of stuff happening. You know?
Yeah, everybody
your November show would be up in December, or you'd be dark in December, or your December show would go into January. You'd take sort of the month to have some vacation. Now we have shows up for 3 hours. On December 19th, we have 5-day pop-up shows. There's so much to show that we have to push it, and there's a reason to get out of the mall and out of your car and off of your couch and go out with family in town and drag them out to these types of shows.
Right. If you want to get your wife to let you watch all of the NFL playoff games on a Sunday, or your partner, whomever in your family loves football, if you're the hubby and she loves football, if you want to get to do that, Friday night, take them to the art show, right? You should be able to get to watch as much football as you want and participate in the cultural experience that's happening in Durham in the here and now that will only happen once. You'll only see it this time. And those games will be on replay forever. Not to mention It's a Wonderful Life. You can watch this as many times
You can
as
read
want.
about the games.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Get
just
Netflix.
that's what text message alerts are for. You know? You can monitor the games while you're at the gallery.
Celebrated the Penguins' victory last night.
Hey, I get text messages from the Penguins while I'm sitting in the audience of events. You know,
fantastic. Well, we're going to talk about dance here in a minute. We've got a whole bunch of things going on in Durham. Chris has been doing a lot of writing on dance, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on, and the whole dance scene has sort of been moving itself very self-consciously to the next level through organizations and through just a lot of various activity around it.
We're sitting not that far from a bunch of the venues, so we'll be back with a little specific talk on dance in Durham. So anyway, fake names. You could totally pull the Yarmir accent. And we're back, sorry, for our digression.
So we're on that one.
We're talking about dance in Durham, as we promised, and my co-host and fabulous friend Chris Vidiello has...
and we ran into Lightsey Darst, who's one of the 4 fabulous women who has started the Durham Independent Dance Artists, Daida, and this is a huge week for Daida. 2 shows last weekend, Justin Torno's Company at the Carrick. This coming weekend, Tommy Noonan and Clint Lutz are doing a duet piece called Brother Brother at the Carrick as well.
Yes.
I mean,
how does it feel?
Yeah,
how amazing
is
it?
How does it feel you were like the last time we really talked about Daida, you were in planning stages. Now you're right in the middle of it. Audiences, sellouts. You know?
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I think it's it feels very confirming, right? You know, we thought that there was the desire for this, and you know, it seems like we're right.
How awesome!
Yeah, and we've been very well supported by press, of course, which has been fantastic. But also, the audience exists.
Right.
You know, I went to Anna's show and I went to Justin's show this past weekend, and, you know, at Anna's show, I would say, like, at least 60-70% of the people in the audience were unfamiliar to me.
Yeah, I didn't recognize a lot of people at Justin's show.
What would you say, too, about the age demographic? I think that's one of the things that really surprises me, is how, I guess, young the audience is. How many young people are watching dance, like, under 40, like, more than half the audience, right?
Yeah, I would say at Anna's show, definitely that was the case. At Justin's show, I thought it was more of a spread. There were more older people, more families.
Mm-hmm. How did you know this community existed in Durham? Was it just the fact that it's a village, it's 2.5 degrees of separation, and you knew enough people who were into dance? I mean, how did you guys have the confidence that it would be out there? Or what were you thinking about on the way in?
That's a really good question. I think, you know, I've only been in Durham for 1.5 years now.
Right on.
So I don't know that many people. But Leah, who's been here a long time.
Right, yeah.
And Justin and Nicola, all those three grew up in this area, so they all knew people, from a long time ago. So I think they had confidence they could bring in a crowd. But then I just had faith that people love dance.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's really true. I mean, you look at the superhero movies, for example, that have been such blockbusters in the past few years, and they're essentially dance films.
Right.
The actors are, they're constantly dancing, they're moving.
Right, moving in these.
Yeah, you're watching their bodies. There's a lot of wire flying, which it involves all this dance technique.
Sure, real choreography.
Yeah, or a movie like Gravity.
Right.
I mean, that is again, essentially a dance film.
I mean, we're never going to give up our ability to speak with our bodies, right? We've been doing it for so long, and so much of what we're saying is non-verbally communicated between each other, The old joke is in New York, they say fuck you, but they mean hello. And in LA, they say hello, but they mean fuck you. And the way you can tell the difference is in people's body language and what they're really saying to you. I think, that as human beings, we're never going to abandon that psychology.
Movement is life.
Heck, dance has gotten to the point where, we're watching reality TV shows on it, and Glee is successful, and even shows like that 70s show would drop into a musical number is kind of the way now. And so, I don't know, I feel like it's fantastic to live in a local community where this is possible. So maybe we should talk more about what's this coming up, because perhaps not all of our audience is as familiar. What's happening the next one?
Well, I have my cheat sheet here. Brother, it's a duet that Tommy Noonan and Clint Lutz choreographed together, and this is the U.S. premiere.
Where is it happening?
It's happening at the Carrick Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And
the Carrick is on Paris Street.
It might all be sold out. I mean, they may have sold all tickets at this point. It
was definitely close last time I checked.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's worth checking. But
So December 18th, 19th, and 20th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So if people miss...
8 p.m. Thursday, Friday, 2 shows on Saturday, 5 and 8 p.m. So it's a really terrific duet. They wear... They're naked except for black sneakers and black briefs. So, yeah.
That is a selling point. And I have heard numerous stories from years of attending ADF and friends attending ADF, and I love the way they've now done these. You were talking about it a few episodes back about the under certain age, lower cost tickets for people who can, who want to support dance, but about naked dance and suddenly just being in the Nasher and like, surprisingly, people are naked right now in front of me.
Yeah.
I think that is a selling point.
Yeah, I think there's this primal attraction to bodies, and it doesn't have to just be sexual. It's really interesting. Thinking about Justin's piece, where the audience is sitting in this kind of X form.
Oh, I love that idea.
And the dancers were in and around the audience, and so you couldn't flatten them out the way I think we often do with dancers who are up on stage far away from us.
Right.
Yeah. They were here, they were three-dimensional.
Is that a new thing to do? I haven't ever heard much about that before.
I think it's something that site specificity when you're doing performances in unconventional, non-traditional spaces. Let's say in a gallery or a bar, like I'm putting at Motorco up the street,
right?
As opposed to on a main stage, you choreographers see those kinds of opportunities and they use them.
Right.
And the beauty of the Carrick is not just the constriction of the space, but it's wooden floorboards, and when I saw the show, there were moments where the dancers were doing floor work and I couldn't see them. They were behind the seated audience, but I could hear the creak of the floorboards and use that as a way of seeing what they were doing, because
you can
it was
feel them
great
through the floor.
Yeah.
You can feel the air as they go by.
Oh, yeah.
But to answer your question, it's not exactly new. That kind of site-specific work or close-up work has been around for, at least since the 60s in terms of Western dance. And then if you think of other dance traditions, of course,
right.
everything changes because because the proscenium stage is
it's very Western
setup.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not what we're used to. Right?
Yeah,
we're used to dance being up there, far away, or even on the television screen.
Exactly.
And one of the great things about living in Durham, though, was like we're used to that, but we're also because ADF camps out here for so much of the summer. We're used to being in line at the grocery store behind dancers. We're used to being in the midst of having dancers.
Yeah, we're so
interacting
lucky
with
in
us
that way.
Everywhere, all over town for 7 weeks, or I think the festival's 7 weeks. So I mean, it's something that we're already sort of a little bit pre-coded to be attracted to, and we've already
definitely an understated part of Durham's DNA that, when thinking about whether or not Daida could have the confidence that it would be successful, we really do have some dance DNA, and ADF's was in Durham when Durham was, considered just west of, West Beirut, or the worst part of Cleveland, whatever you would want to say about our downtown that was mean and less than thoughtful.
So after Tommy's show,
if this show's sold out,
what's next?
Is Black Irish next?
I think Black Irish is probably the next show on our... No, that's not true. Kristen Taylor has a date, February, I believe it's 5th and 6th. Don't quote me on that.
But there's a website
where
people can check it, yes, which is...
DaidaSeason.com. I think
it's not on here.
But if you ask Google
Daida
Season, Google the Googly Irish will get you there.
It shows up. I'm pretty sure it's .com.
I Google Daida Durham all the time too.
Yeah,
to find this
and
stuff
that will find it. But I think Kristen Taylor's show is the next show, and then Black Irish, and then we go on into the rest of the spring. But I think her show is in February, so you've got a month to.
Right, and if the one at the Carrick, or to get your tickets, because if they're already sold out at the Carrick before you watch this, you may as well go ahead and book ahead for February.
Right.
Plan ahead.
Yeah.
Well, this was fantastic. It was so sweet to run into you, and Chris literally booked her about 30 minutes ago, leaning across the counter at Coco Cinnamon, like, "Hey, would you like to?" And of course, Durham's 2.5 degrees of separation. Our village came through for us. How cool!
Right. Well,
we really
thanks, y'all.
appreciate
Big bed. Well, not really.
Whoa.
Sorry. One big living room.
Bad
One big
metaphor.
living room. Yeah.
There you
We'll
go.
get to the bed later.
Thank you.
All right, thanks,
Still
y'all.
morning.
Yeah, pleasure. Really appreciate it. Totally.
And wrote about it. Harold Sun wrote about it.
Really?
Indy wrote about it.
I know you wrote about it for Indy,
these aren't local dance doesn't usually get all of the media outlets, but it did. It got all.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I don't follow the NNO and the Herald Sun. I knew you wrote about it.
I just saw the links. I haven't even read the pieces yet.
Yeah, good for them though. Finally, the Carrick show.
Yeah, a show.
Awesome.
A dance show.
The NNO so rarely even gets into the Carrick.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we diss the NNO and the Herald Sun. They are the staffs of those publications.
Yeah, I agree. The Herald Sun especially.
You could fit them on 2 couches in this place. It's ridiculous. And the reporters do
yeoman work. Yeah. Oh, how about that? We both went for yeoman.
No, I have real admiration
I
for the
agree.
people they have, and they do their best, but when it's one person covering all culture, what do you expect?
It's impossible.
A major media outlet.
Right, it's mission impossible. That's why we say we curate at the Clarion Content, because it's like, I feel like the indie, if the indie is mission impossible already, because they're trying to cover Wake and Orange and, all of that plus Durham, the Herald Sun and the NNO have it even harder, because they're trying to cover all of those things, whereas the indie can at least be like, this is our beat. And then the Clarion Content underneath the indie is like, okay, well, our beat is only Durham and only what we can get to, and even that can feel overwhelming. I know the backup of articles, I have a backlog right now. Anyways, Chris, you ready for us?
We just want to say thanks for watching Sights on the City with Aaron and myself, Chris, and thanks to our guest, Lightsey Darst, talking about dance and representing Durham Independent Dance Artists.
Yeah, and we're grateful to Coco Cinnamon for letting us sit out here. Once again, it's raining. And we'd be grateful to you if you wanted to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Clarion Content YouTube channel, or comment on the YouTube page, or comment when we post these on ClarionContentMedia.com. Follow Chris on Twitter at Chris Vitiello, Vitiello. I'm from Jersey. I got it. I grew up with a few Italians, one or two. Follow my buddy Josh Hart on Twitter, just like it sounds, HARDT. Follow the Clarion Content on Twitter at Clarion Content, and check us out on Instagram as well. Buddy Rusky does a great job for us there. We'd love to have the conversation with you. The reason we're having these conversations is we want to live in this great town, and we want you to enjoy it with us and tell us what you think and what you care about and what we ought to know about and how you want to be involved. So those are all of our social media platforms.
Tell us where we're right. Tell us where we're wrong.
Tell us what we don't know.
Yeah.